Before I go and introduce you to our company, I just quickly wanted to share with you the belief that this company was made and built upon. And that's a fairly simple idea, so stick with me. If we think of electric vehicles and how we charge them, basically, automatically, you think about this distributed charging. So that's home, office, that's a parking lot, and so on. And that has been a very successful model to transit this chicken and egg problem. What should come first, the car or an infrastructure? Yet, if we go and look at other alternatives, like, for example, G-mobility, and by that I don't just mean a natural gas vehicle, but also a biomethane, synthetic gas, and maybe a hydrogen vehicle in some distant future. There we are building out these centralized stations, these large stations of centralized nature, and although we have some, for the end users, the sum means none, right? So we believe that if we go and replicate that EV charging infrastructure model only in a G-mobility, right, we can completely reinvent the market, and that's what we believe in. And because of that, in Hygen, we are coming up with this home and office fueling appliance, or as we are calling it, a supercharger for gas vehicles, which will completely reinvent how we think about charging our gas vehicles or fueling our gas vehicles. So now a little bit about the facts about this fuel. So it is a great motor vehicle fuel. It's cheaper, it's cleaner. We have actually 10 times more natural gas vehicles around the world than we have electric vehicles. Right? So it's pretty mature. However, the challenge has always been around this lack of refueling infrastructure. Not a lot of places to fuel up your car, this chicken and egg problem. What should come first, car or infrastructure, infrastructure or the car? No cars, no stations, no cars. However, in the same way as electricity, the gas is being distributed right at the doorsteps of our houses, offices, parking lots. And that grid can be used or leveraged in order to fuel up your vehicle, providing the fact you have a viable way how to connect the grid with a car. And that has always been a challenge, a technical challenge. Even the best companies in our industry failed to deliver a solution for that challenge. And that's where Hygen comes in. So in Hygen, we have brought to life a new technology, which we are calling in a very fancy name, a liquid piston gas compression technology. And basically, we have eliminated all the moving parts within a compressor itself. And because of that, we were basically able to extend the service-free lifetime of the unit substantially. And as you can imagine, that reduces the total cost of ownership of that unit substantially. And then on the other side, we were able to incorporate a storage system which allows us to fuel up your car at your home in just 3 minutes. Fast refueling at your home, superior convenience. That's not something that you can do with electric vehicle today. And although, yep, we know that it's less expensive to operate electric vehicle on a kilometer basis, but that comes at a substantial premium on the day one of purchasing that vehicle. And providing the fact you don't have a subsidy, that means not a very favorable payback period. More than that, if you need to travel country to country, city to city, you always have to rely on that recharging infrastructure that will come someday. And it's always be, 10 years out there. So that's not an option. But the last point that I want to mention about comparing the G-mobility and E-mobility, that it's not about a car, it's about a grid. And what I mean by that is that if you take the natural gas vehicle and you pair it with a biomethane plant or a synthetic gas plant, then the natural gas vehicle has the same environmental footprint as pairing electric vehicle with a windmill or solar, right? So it's not about decarbonizing the car, it's about decarbonizing the grid. It's a completely different way how to look at it. Of course, this has created a new market opportunity for the gas companies in a very similar way as electric vehicles have created for electric companies. Because now that gas company can really tap into their existing infrastructure and deliver that fuel right at the doorsteps of your house at a price which is 40% less than the price of gasoline, competing with conventional fuels at a price point, at a convenience, and an environmental footprint. By doing that, they're able to sell 5 times more of their core product, which is the gas. That's why our go-to-market strategy is twofold. So we're going through the car OEM dealerships on one side, and on the other side through the gas companies. So for first group, we are running the pilot together with the largest car OEM on natural gas vehicle space, which is the Volkswagen Group in Wolfsburg, right in the heart of that company. And on the other side, we have concluded the pilot project with Gas Technology Institute out of Chicago, United States. Now, we leverage that in order to set up a new commercial scale pilot projects all around the world. And of course, here, the main job is done by our team. So we have just hired a new CEO who was the vice president of large gas compression producing company. And we are also blessed to have a former head of natural gas vehicle division at Volkswagen Group as our active board advisor. But now the most crucial role was being played by InnoEnergy. It's pretty easy to imagine that you can invest in the middle of that arrow, right? But it is a hard job to invest in the start when that arrow is thin. When you don't have a product, you don't have a standard for an industry to actually deploy that product, you don't have a track record, anything. And that's where InnoEnergy came in, right? So for any startup, I would advise that you don't just go and find the opportunity, you define it, you select it, and then you go and find it. Another point that I want to mention about InnoEnergy is that I would suggest you guys who are part of InnoEnergy community to really exploit those opportunities that we have there. Because to give you an example, they have like more than 10 co-locations around Europe. So whenever we needed to go and make a sale in German market, they acted as an external sales guys to us. Okay? When we needed to raise our next seed extension round, we went to Spanish office and they helped us to seize the deal with a CVC arm of the gas company. When we wanted to get a European funding, we went to to their office in Brussels, and they really supported us, and that allowed us to be at the moment where we are at. So the best you can do is just find your opportunity and really utilize it. That's it. I'm done. Thank you.